What is up, Packers fans, and welcome back to another episode of Packer Report TV. I am your host and the publisher of that very website, Ross Uglem, and today we are doing our weekly deep dive into the film with my good buddy, Dusty Evely. Dusty, how are you, man?
I'm great, dude. I'm great. It's weird having the season start on a Friday because I feel like I've had so much time to watch stuff that I've been overwatching stuff at this point, and it's thrown off my week. But I'm good, man. It's always exciting to get back into actual regular season film.
Yeah, it is exciting. I think it would have been tougher if Jordan Love were lost for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Because it just you never want to feel like even last year, right, when they started making their run and that they're leading late in San Francisco, and there's always this carrot of like what could be.
Hmm.
Your carrot of what could be is just a little bit different if it's Malik Willis the whole time.
Yeah.
You're sort of trying to like pitch and bailing like, wow, hey man, they could go 9-8 and they could lose in the divisional round. It's like, well, that's what they did last year. So how much fun, how much fun is that?
Yeah, I'm desperately trying to talk myself into Malik Willis is where I'm at now. Like Malik Willis for like 3 weeks, maybe that's not bad. That's where I'm mentally where I'm at.
Brother, I was just talking about on like I did three things from the Eagles game, and I said like, hey, you just thank your stars and garters if they can find a way to be 2-2 when Jordan Love comes back. If they can be 2-2 and trot number 10 back out there, miracles, miracles have occurred.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
Anyway, let's dive into the film. We're gonna do this kind of the same, I would say, same structure as what we kind of did for the the preseason stuff, right?
Hmm.
So we'll try and I'm gonna try and effort that real quick as far as try to give you a timestamp. I'm gonna try and pull up young Mister Jaden Reed's statistics here
Yeah.
because I can give you an accurate timestamp here. They put Watson in motion. They sure do. Okay, so we're talking about quarter two, 5 minutes and 22 seconds left. Third down and 10 on the Green Bay 30. Obviously, then ends up being a 70-yard touchdown. If you guys are film junkies, you guys have access to NFL Pro. You guys have access to the film black market, whatever. however,
Yep.
however you
Very
might
good to
be
hear.
taking this in. But I want to bring you to kind of the pre-snap, and it's actually a concept that you guys all know my background with North Dakota State, but it's actually a concept that was kind of taken from NDSU and used a ton by different NFL teams to score, different college teams to score, things of that nature. And it sort of started by putting a running back in jet motion, faking him the ball, and then running, basically three verticals to one side of the field, which would stress man defenses, it stresses zone defenses, it stresses all sorts of defenses. And a lot of the early success of that play was actually throwing the running back wheel. Now, in this instance, Watson just runs a jet motion and in fact is plenty clear of Love before they even snap the ball. So there's no fake to him. That's not what they're doing. They're not trying to necessarily stress the nickel or stress a linebacker, which is a lot of times what would happen in early iterations of this play, both in college and at the NFL level. But what you'll see here is this super vertical concept, and I mean the Eagles are just in cover three. They give a split safety look pre-snap. It looks like four. It looks like two. But you get a roll down from Blankenship, and I think Green Bay has to be absolutely thrilled by this because it puts Philly in a super compromised position. And what you'll see is Watson and Dobbs run kind of a vertical scissors, almost like a lazy dagger. I don't know how else to explain it. And you probably could have gotten Watson on this concept, except interior pressure from the Eagles forces Love to his right, which is an incredibly fortuitous thing for the Packers because the leak out here by Tucker Kraft freezes Darius Slay. And if you're following along, he's on the bottom of your screen. He has the deep third to the right hand side of the field. He has the deep third to the boundary side. But when he starts peeking at what Tucker Kraft is doing, this deep over by Jaden Reed absolutely breaks wide open because Chauncey Gardner-Johnson had to respect what was going on with Dobbs and Watson and how stressful they were being vertically, did not want to leave the field side corner on an island in cover 3. And you just see there is an ocean for Jordan Love to throw this ball into, even though he's off platform, even though it's on the run. The margin of difficulty here is almost non-existent, which doesn't stop him from throwing a dart because he throws a dart. But then everything else after that is Jaden Reed undresses Gardner-Johnson right in the middle of the field. And then you get the classic Christian Watson chase down end zone escort that we've seen so many times on long plays. I'm sure he was trying to throw a block there, but sometimes he just wants to make his speed look cool. But I thought that was a really cool, Dusty. I thought that was a really cool variation of that kind of RB vert seam concept. I mean, we've seen Green Bay run it. We saw Philly really bring it into the league all the way back to the Carson Wentz days and the Nick Foles days. Like, they loved that concept. And I just thought that this was a cool iteration. Let's not even fake it to Watson. It's just the jet motion, super stressful. And I think this would have worked worse against cover 4, but the Eagles were disguising and they almost outsmarted themselves.
Yeah, you mentioned, certainly with the Eagles with Wentz there. I remember the first time really seeing it unfold huge was that Chiefs Patriots game. I think it was a week 1 game, and Alex Smith was still there. And I think it was Kareem Hunt at the time. They just destroyed the Patriots with that running back out of the backfield. I love this concept. I love when they can hit that seam, although that's been rare these days. But yeah, the combination of all that stuff, really, really cool play. I'm a sucker. There's something like aesthetically pleasing about the way that unfolds, where you get like the kind of like vertical out of the backfield, or in this case, Watson off the jet there, and then everyone kind of just moving the same direction. It's a very cool look. It's something I've always kind of enjoyed watching.
And that's one thing too, and I will always be painted as a Christian apologist. Like, I get that. My guy is a magnet. He has a gravitational pull. The defense freaks out when he does anything, and you can just see defenders like just moving towards 9, and 11 is just left wide open. And that's not all a Watson thing. Like I said, the cool part of that design, and it's like everything has a purpose, right? That little block release, Darius Slay is just dropping. If there's not that little release from Tucker Kraft, Darius Slay is just getting in his cover 3 drop, and Jaden Reed is running right to him. But because there's that little release by Kraft, it freezes Slay. Now, like I wrote in the film review piece that hit Packer Report yesterday, it's a lose-lose, because if Slay keeps dropping, Jacobs is running a little curl, a little deal out of the backfield. So if Slay keeps dropping and freaks out and goes to meet Jaden Reed, it's a layup to Tucker Kraft for like 15 yards. Now, are those 15 yards as exciting as a 70-yard touchdown? They most certainly are not. But if Slade just drops into his normal cover 3 situation, it's one of these to Tucker Kraft for 15 or 20 yards.
Yeah, and you also had Love break and contain there too, and forcing those linebackers up to release in the middle as well.
Yeah.
You got the flat release, you've got Love. I mean, something he's very good at, and I think has always been very good at. He's not the fastest guy, but he certainly will use his legs when he needs to. But he's always got eyes downfield, right? He breaks, contain, eyes downfield, and so you're influencing the defense while still looking for the big play. Very cool play, very cool look. Big fan of that one.
All right, you, sir, have a play that you would like to discuss.
I do. So this one I've got, it's third quarter, 13:29. Left in the third and 1. Packers and 11 personnel. This is, I don't know if anyone, Ross, I don't know if you've listened to, I assume you have, Jordan Rodriguez's excellent play caller series that hit the Athletic stuff last year, where she interviews a bunch of people from the Shanahan tree. LaFleur obviously was a part of that, not a huge part of that, but one of his quotes that I absolutely loved, because they were asking, like, where do you get your plays from? And LaFleur's quote straight from his mouth was something effective: I'll steal from anyone. I don't care. I'll steal from anyone. This was one of those, I will steal from anyone. So back in week 4, 2023, we had the Lions scoring a touchdown to Amon-Ra St. Brown on this concept. And it's basically Hank, which is a 2-man quick game thing with a hitch from the outside and then a flat. So it's a hitch flat. Throw it 1,000 times. Packers run this a bunch. What the Lions did in that game with Amon-Ra St. Brown on the hitch was hitch, draw the defender up. I think it was third down on that play as well. And then he simply twirls, a little pirouette up the field. And so you get this hard crash by the defender trying to play the hitch. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown just slides away from him. That ended up being a touchdown. So here we've got 3rd and 1. Again, 13:29 left in the third. We've got Bo Melton on the hitch. And we've got, I think the Jacobs on the flat from an inline position.
And he had an easy first down. I mean, they didn't go to it, but Jacobs has an easy first down.
Easy first down. And they usually run that like, whatever, hitch to flat anyway out of Hank. You're reading that inside out. But yeah, there's no one runs to him. But you've got everything looks set up, man. You've got the hitch, 4 yards past the sticks on 3rd down. Bo Melton hitches up. Quinyon Mitchell, I think, just crashes on him. When he goes to spin out of it, Mitchell just tackles him. Just straight up tackles him. I think they get DPI on this. And it ends up being a first down anyway. But this is one of those things like, man, they had this sucker drawn up. I love this because this is something, again, the Packers had seen. LaFleur had this drawn up. 3rd down, let's be aggressive. We're going to look for this, and then we're just going to spin out of it and hit something big. There's no one back there. This is a huge play if he doesn't get tackled.
Absolutely. And there's 3 penalties because you've got illegal contact. You've got defensive holding, and then as soon as the ball gets in the air, it's defensive pass interference. Obviously, defensive pass interference being the most beneficial to the Packers. But yeah, you had oceans in here because I'm looking too. Kraft releases into the flat, and he has 20 yards if they just flip the ball to Kraft.
I think there's actually there's a 4th penalty here, Ross. There's they actually end up getting the roughing the passer call as well, which I think is what they end up taking. This was
sure, the 5th. Yeah.
Right. So I think that's what they take, but I love part of me I love the move from Quinyon Mitchell, a rookie, to be like, I'm cooked, man. I'm just going to tackle this dude. Like,
because they're going to score otherwise. Yeah.
Heads up play. That's a touchdown. Yep. But absolutely, like when you're watching this stuff, you're the same as me, right? You're watching this stuff and going, oh, that was cool. Where have I seen this before? And that one specifically was like, I remember yelling at the TV in a bar during that play. So the Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown looms very large in my head.
Yeah, because you could see, I mean, Quinyon is flat-footed and just knows.
Oh, if straight wraps him up.
Yeah, if I don't grab him, it doesn't matter what I ran in Indy. I'm not getting there because I have a negative head start right now.
Yeah, he both arms around his waist and just completely takes him down. I love it.
Anything else? I think both you and I got through that tape and thought, oh my goodness, Edgerrin Cooper has to play. Edgerrin Cooper has to play all the time. Edgerrin Cooper has to play.
Yeah.
Anything else that you really got from that film study and just going through, I'm sure, all 156 plays over and over and over again, being that we've had access to this all weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at specific players too much yet. I was going to do that last night, and then other things conspired against me. But that is kind of my next thing, is digging more into individual players. I mean, I will say, yeah, Edge Cooper was great. I wrote a piece on him today. They looked really good. The Kraft Musgrave stuff is interesting. I'm curious where you sit on this. I mean, Kraft is clearly a tight end, right? Like that's just his thing. Musgrave, I feel like he had limited snaps. Musgrave had 17 snaps to Kraft 65. I've not super dug into Musgraves yet. I mean, this is probably just the who he is type of thing versus what they would try to do. Like, you can you can run with Kraft, and Musgrave, bless his heart, like tries to block. He's just not there yet. And with his body type, I don't know if he's going to get there. And so that was kind of one of those, you draft Musgrave higher, even when Kraft was taken, was like, this seems like the dude that works better within this offense. Like, when you were watching them, what were your thoughts on that kind of Musgrave versus Kraft stuff?
Yeah, I think it's the same thought that I've always had with those two, which is just that especially now that you did not replace DeGuara, you did not go and get, I mean, you didn't keep Henry Pearson, right? You didn't, go after the Ben Sinnott or Jaheim Bell or any of the shorter tight ends that I would have liked there. So to me, I think there's still a chance you could get like maybe not 2-1, although it was probably even greater than 2-1 snap count against the Eagles. You could get a situation where I think Tucker Kraft could play 60, 70, 80% more snaps. Maybe not 2-1, maybe not 100% more snaps, but I think you could get in a situation where Tucker Kraft plays 60, 70, 80% more snaps than Musgrave and still loses out on all the fantasy No, like
Yeah.
the fantasy statistical. So like targets, catches, yards, touchdowns, because Tucker Kraft has all the Tucker Kraft stuff from last year. He has all of the Josiah DeGuara stuff from last year, I would guess.
They had him in the backfield a little bit this game too.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. He's got the DeGuara stuff. So like he can give you a B or a B minus doing anything. And while you're like, oh, you're shitting on Tucker Kraft, he went to South Dakota State, you hate Tucker Kraft. No, if I'm saying C is average NFL tight end, I'm saying you can get above average, like whatever you need from the guy, which is tremendously valuable. And then your 42nd overall pick or whatever Musgrave is, like that's your attempt at greatness. That's your attempt at this guy is just impossible to match up with. And it requires development. It requires, chemistry in a way that they weren't able to build last year. I think they're not going to take Kraft off the field. If he stays healthy, they're not going to take him off the field because he does everything they need him to do. And they're not probably going to throw him a seam ball. And they're not probably going to try and run sail with him or try and have him beat a safety. They'll ask Musgrave to do that. But I think we're just getting a little bit too far into the weeds of snap count because Tucker Kraft can do everything they're going to ask him to do. But the stuff that you would want to spend a premium pick on, you're still going to ask Musgrave to do that. You're still going to run, why, or NDSU calls it why Alabama. I'm talking about the U wheel, the Dallas play. That play is still going to Musgrave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That play is still going to Musgrave. So while there's value in being able to give Tucker Kraft 60 snaps and ask him to do a ton of things, there's also value in eventually giving Musgrave like 30 snaps, but they're specifically designed things. And I know, but people are, oh, it's a dead giveaway. It's a dead giveaway. Folks, it ain't going to matter. When you have 4 legitimate wide receivers and Josh Jacobs and apparently Emmanuel Wilson and Tucker Kraft, defenses aren't going to be able to go, oh, Musgrave. I mean, if you want to, fine. But
if you want to throw 3 bodies at Musgrave, what are we doing here?
But I don't think it's going to work. I don't think that's going to be the way that the teams can defend. The Packers. Would I love it if Musgrave was a 3-down, glass-eating, taller version of George Kittle? Sure. But then he would have been drafted like 8th overall. You know what I mean? Like that's not sort of how the draft works. And I'm super happy for the success of Tucker Kraft. All right, Dusty, brother, thank you so much for your time today. Thank all you guys for watching or listening. If you are on the podcast side, you can follow Dusty at Dusty Evely. You can follow myself at Ross Uglem. You can follow Packer Report at Packer Report 66. Other than that, I'm rocking this sweet homage Tecmo Bowl Reggie White tee there. Link should be in our descriptions here. And do everything you're supposed to do on the Pack a Day Podcast YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, click the bell, and get the notifications so that you can get every single ounce of Packers content that you require on a daily basis. Have a great rest of your day, folks, and go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.